Again, Erev Shabbos, Parshas Bahaloscha. I'm not sure the makar for this, but I've heard it brought down in Sfarim that the names of Parshas teach a lesson themselves. Like, very often, the name of the Parsha is just the first word, or like, and then that word. But sometimes it's really bizarre. Like, Yisrael, like, it's not necessarily the first word, rather it seems to be a title of the Parsha that encompasses the whole thing. And Rav Tzadok HaKohen does this a lot. Rav Tzadok HaKohen says that the first word in Masechta, in Gemara, has a big fancy box around it, because the entire Masechta is encompassed one way or another in that one word. So it's our job to figure out each Masechta, how this word means the entire Masechta, Masechta Yuma, Erev, and Sukkah. Anyway, so right now we're 3 Parshas in. I didn't get that far, but it says Bar Midbar, Nasa Bahaloscha. And I was thinking, what's a Midbar? We know the Shagafai Mandelovich came to America to build Torah, and they told him it's a Midbar, right? America was the Midbar. And he used to say, it's a Be'eretz Lo Zerua, right? We followed HaKadosh Baruch Hu in Eretz Lo Zerua. He said, he called America an Eretz Lo Zerua because wherever you go, they're planting Loi. They're planting the word no. A Midbar is somewhere where nothing grows. You plant something and the dirt looks up at you and says, no, sorry, not going to grow. That's a Midbar. Midbar is when someone's totally lost, there's no direction, there's no city. Where you think when you finally have a little bit of hope, you see some water and it's a mirage. Yush. Midbar is not a good place. It's dark at night, it's cold at night, it's boiling hot and cooking in the day. What are you doing in a Midbar? Zak the Torah, Nosai. Elevate yourself. Pick yourself up. Where are you going? You're in a Midbar. That's not your job. Once you are Nosai, once you pick up and you do your first step, you're Shtadlos, Bahaloscha, the candles will go up themselves. The fire will go the rest of the way. You will be elevated by taking that first step. Right? You light a candle. You don't have to light a candle for an hour. You light a candle and then it burns the rest of the way. All you have to do is light a candle. You're stuck in the Midbar, you're lost, you're confused. Nothing. Pick yourself up, light it, it'll do the rest itself. I think this might be the godless of Aaron, right? It says that Aaron lit the nares every day, and Rashi points out that it's a shvach of Aaron, that he didn't change from anything that Hashem said. What's the shvach? Chas v'chalila. The Hashem tells you to do something, of course you're going to do exactly what Hashem tells you. It's not so pashut. Because when you're in the Midbar, and you have a set of instructions, it's like, yeah, this is what I'm supposed to do, this is where I'm supposed to go, but look, there's nothing there. What am I going to do over there? Elamai, Aaron still said, you know what, I'm going to take my step. This is what I have to do. And he took that step, and the Rebbeinu Shalom takes care of the rest. There's a Yid named Rav Yitzchak Wiener who lived in communist Russia, and he's one of the fighters. He's one of the Yidden that hung on to Yiddishkeit, hung on to the Rebbeinu Shalom, but despite everything, I mean like everything, the KGB was out there. And it wasn't just like a scary thing, it was life and death. If there's ever a reason, a good excuse to not keep Yiddishkeit, it was in communist Russia. He was an accountant for the government. Everything in communist Russia is communism, everything's for the government. In fact, Rav Orlovik told us that if you go there now, there are certain streets in Russia that were built. All the buildings on that street were built during communism. And if you go there today, they're all on an angle. They're like leaning tower pieces, they're all coming down. What's pshat? They looked beautiful when they were built. But in order to actually make a buck in communist Russia, if you weren't, Stalin, you had to play the black market. So if you're in construction, the government gives you the supplies for the building, and they say, build us a building. If you're on the black market, so you have to cut out a little bit of supplies here and there to sell. But you can't pull it out a window because there'll be a missing window and they'll throw you in prison and send you to Siberia. But in the foundation, you could pull off little... So the foundations are faulty, and after a couple of years, the buildings just went... Anyway, so this Rav Yitzchak, he was an accountant for the government, and they told him you have to work on Yom Kippur because why not? What's Yom Kippur? It's another day, another work day for Mother Russia. And he said, okay, all right, but he wasn't going to work. Absolutely not. He wasn't going to look at a number, he wasn't going to pick up a pen, nothing. So he told them, my foot's hurting, I can't come into work. And they're like, okay, your foot's hurting, fine. We'll give you work to do at home. You have 2 days, bring it back after 2 days. And They sent him home with a loose leaf azoi, and they said, do your work and no problem. He looks at the stack and he says, if I don't work on Yom Kippur, it's not going to get done. But I'm not working on Yom Kippur. And he did it. Kachava, he went to Yom Kippur, he fasted, he Makayim Yom Kippur the whole thing. Matz Yom Kippur, he sits down to work on the accounting. And he looks at this pile and he says, Shtadlus. No, sorry, I just have to start. I have to take the first step. And he does. And he starts writing. And he says he's writing for hours. One number he's crunching and he's going through one paper and finally he gets through one thing. They gave him 4 times the work that they normally give him. He says, this is how he describes it. He said 2 o'clock in the morning he was still working. Papers are due on the desk 9 a.m. He said a malach came, took my hand and started writing. He said the numbers just started pouring out of my mind. Everything just happened. He said a malach did the rest of my work for me. And the next morning I walk into my comrades and I slam down a loose leaf and they start going through it. Good, 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 good. He nailed it. He nailed it. Neis Gullah. All you have to do is pick up the pen and do your Shtadlus. What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to be Shloime Yom Kippur? I'm going to be Shloime Yom Kippur. So, the Bahaloscha with Bahaloscha is going to take us the rest of the way. We should be able to see the Yad Hashem. Nisim, Gluyim. The Bias Goyal Tzedek will have you, amen, amen. Ha-da-dum, da-da-dum, dum, da-dum. Ha-da-dum, da-da-dum, 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 ha-da-dum, da-da-dum. Bye.